So, Caroline, why don't you start off by telling us what have we been trying to do with this World Mission Review?
We've been looking at everything that we do. So we've been looking at the good things that we do, the things that we do well. We've been looking at the bad things that we do, like the stuff that we don't do at all. And we've been looking at the ugly things that we do. So they're things that maybe need a bit of adjustment to make them a bit better.
Yeah, great. And over that process, which has taken quite a long time because COVID got in the way and all of that sort of stuff, how have we gone about conducting that review, looking at that whole area of world mission, what's good, what's not so good, and what's a bit ugly? How have we gone about doing that review?
Well, the first thing we've done is we've prayed a lot. We've asked the church. We did a survey, which was to ask questions about what people felt was important, and the sort of things that people supported. We've also asked other churches what they do and how they go about it. We've wanted to look at things that are going to be impactful in both ways. It's not just about the West to the rest. It's about the impact that we can have, but it's also about the impact that our involvement can have on us, which is also really important. We wanted something that's sustainable, long-term, so relationships that will go into the future, not just here and gone. And we want to work with good local partners.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I'm particularly, sorry, I'm going to drill down a little bit because that survey was particularly important, wasn't it? And people might have forgotten about that because, again, we did that quite a long time ago now. But that gave all of us kind of an opportunity to express what we were passionate about, the things that we were involved in, the things that we might have been involved in outside of what we do and have been doing as a church. So that survey was really helpful, I think, wasn't it, for us?
Yes, it was. And it was interesting to see people's views on what they felt was important. So it was important to alleviate human suffering. It's important to share what Jesus does and who he is to us. So that was really important. And it was amazing to see the variety of ways in which the church is involved in mission. That was really encouraging.
Yeah. I suppose one of the things, certainly for me, that it uncovered a little bit, because you've just referenced some of the really good stuff, we also talked about some of the tricky or the bad or the ugly, the do differently kind of stuff, is it did highlight, didn't it, that perhaps across the church we were struggling a little bit to feel engaged with some of the stuff we were currently doing. And I think that was one of the do differentlies, or one of, I don't know whether bad's the right word, but one of the things that came out of it, we thought actually we're not as engaged with this as a church as we'd like to be. Is that a fair reflection of what that survey showed us too?
Yes, and one of the things that we've worked on is actually to have stuff that we can be really engaged with as a church in all sorts of levels. So it's not just finance, it's not just prayer, it's in practical ways, sending teams, but not just sending teams, doing other stuff as well. So that's what we wanted to change.
Yeah. That's been so good. So the World Mission team have been really looking at all of this, again, over the last year or so. What have been some of the key outcomes from those conversations and from the review, would you say?
One of the very important key outcomes is that we've decided, although we started from scratch, we've decided we want to continue supporting Helen and Jim. The other key outcome, I think, has been that we want to do mission in all sorts of different ways, all sorts of different levels. So some things will be, okay, if there's a crisis, there's been an earthquake somewhere, we want to send money out, we'll send it through someone like Tear Fund, because we really like the way that they work. And then there's other various practical support we could do. We could maybe be involved in supporting people who've come from Afghanistan, because there's recently been that crisis.
Excellent. And what are your hopes that all this review and the outcomes, which we're going to share with people, the recommendations a little bit later, what do you hope it will do for us as a church?
I think it will I'm hoping it will increase our vision outwards, to see what's out there, to see what God is doing, and to want to be involved in that. But I don't want it just to increase our vision. I want to increase our action as well, so that we're more involved, we're more engaged on all sorts of levels. And sometimes it might be, this week I'm going to do this, or it might be I'm going to plan to go on one of the teams, or it could be something that I do on a more regular basis.
That's so good. I love that it's going to increase our vision for what God can do through us in other parts of the world, but it's going to increase our action as well. That's a really good challenge for us as well, because we need to do something, don't we?
Yeah,
as well?
and I think as well it can increase how God works in us through our vision and through our action, and maybe there can be some impact coming back this way too.
I think that's so important. I love the fact that that's a passion and a heart for you and the team as well, because we know you know that one of the things we're passionate about ABC is encouraging people to take next steps in their journey of faith, and our research in all of that shows us that when people engage in it's grandly called a cross-cultural mission experience, but basically when people engage in a culture or a situation where it's not normal for them, it's different, that is often a time where people really take a step forward in their faith. Their faith really grows in that. So I think I share your hope that as we're engaged in these different sorts of situations, it not only changes the world a bit, but it changes us and draws us closer to God as well. And I think that's been our heart all the way through this review, hasn't it? That these would be genuine partnerships that goes both ways. And I love that that's the heart, and you've expressed that so brilliantly. So great. So I want to say a huge thank you to you and the World Mission team for the work that you've put in on this review. We're just about to share the results in the meeting with everybody of that and our recommendations, so people will get to hear that in just a second. But in the meantime, thank you so much for all the work that you've done on this, and the team too. Will you pass on our thanks to them as well?
I will.
Brilliant.
I will.
Thanks, Caroline.